Hey everybody, Benny Career here from Operation Rainfall, and welcome back to another unboxing. This is actually the one that made me decide to go ahead and kind of set all the equipment up and do that, because this is kind of a big deal. And I figured I could talk a little bit about why I decided to pick this up. So, if you've listened to the IFI recap podcast I did with Unofficial Steve, you know that we tried Neptunia VIIR's VR mode, and that was my first experience with the PlayStation VR. And I had mentioned that it still wasn't really, that was not worth really picking up a PSVR for. So then, kind of ironic that literally 2 days later I bought a PSVR. So probably should explain kind of what's going on there. So, in short, there's actually a really good sale going on right now. If you're not familiar with it, take a look at PlayStation's website. I'll go and take a look. I actually tried to look for affiliate links for this for Amazon, and this bundle here, the Skyrim bundle, is not available. You just can't buy it. It's like sold out. I'm like going, well, okay, well, never mind then. I'll just go ahead and link to the general PlayStation page, and you can see that this is a, basically an industry-wide sale. This is marked down via PlayStation, which means you should be able to go to like any Target, Best Buy, whatever store has these. They should be matching those prices. If not, do an online price comparison, they should match those. But essentially what it is I was doing a little bit of research, and I haven't done a ton, so I do apologize. I'm not as up-to-date with the PSVR schematics as a lot of other people, but so this is more of a casual kind of mindset. But there is a recent revision to the PSVR, which should be this one. This is, let's see here. This contains CHU ZVR2, which is the second revision of the hardware. From what I understand on that, apparently it's a little bit easier to put the headphones on now, especially if you're using the Platinum ones, which are their ones that they recommend. And it has a pass-through for HDR, so I'm not as familiar exactly what the issue with the first one there was. You may want to do some research. But anyway, point being, new version of hardware. Usually that means more expensive, and the old stuff gets discounted. Well, the old stuff is actually discounted. I think it's like $199 right now. Check the page, like I mentioned, for more information. But you can find bundles with the second version of the hardware that are on sale. This one is basically, unfortunately, my choices of what to get with it were pretty limited, which is one of the reasons why I have not picked up a PSVR. Now, I'm a special case in that aspect because a lot of the stuff that's bundled with it are really popular titles that I don't care about. There was one for Gran Turismo. Don't really care about racing games outside of Mario Kart. Just not my thing. There was one with Doom. As you've seen with PBS, first-person shooters are not my thing. So Doom is not going to be my thing. And then there was this one with Skyrim. And to be honest, I am not a big fan of Skyrim. I did play for the 360. I did complete the main quest. But it's not because it's Skyrim. It's because it's an open-world RPG. So, as such, I wasn't really as interested in kind of any of these bundles. But at $100 off, plus I got picked up at Target, so I get an additional percentage off with the red card, so it's on my credit. Yay. Let's pay that thing off as fast as possible. It was probably the best deal, mainly because of the fact it comes with the Move controllers, which I don't know if I ever need them, so I'd rather just have them. And it comes with the camera, of course, so you get the VR headset, the Skyrim VR, whatnot, etc. But yeah, it's like, for me, Skyrim is not really a draw for this. I would say this, I don't know if anyone at Sony would happen to be watching this. If so, you have Net V2R coming out, you have PBS, which has a VR mode, you have Touhou. I realize these are much smaller titles, but for your niche market, which the niche market is a major part of the PlayStation family, you might want to consider something. Just like I said, that would probably help adopt it. The other thing is, in general, I'll point out that the first time I got to try a PSVR unit was at the IFI press event. In 2 years, I have not been able to actually get my wear one and try it out, mainly because anytime we go to events or whatnot, it is just jam-packed with people trying to see these things, and there's not really any demos around here. I mean, I live in Lakewood, I'm pretty sure, in California. I'm pretty sure I could find some store around here that has it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to look at a VR headset. I will say, Sony, that's kind of directly to you. That's the real reason I have not basically picked one of these up. There's no way for me to really test it out and see what it's like. The, Net V2R on Sony is not, but I've got a couple of VR-enabled titles, and there's probably more coming on. So the bundle, I thought, was a good way to kind of, me being usually an early adopter of stuff, was a good way to kind of go ahead and jump in there. But Sony, I will say this, just honestly from the bottom of my heart, you gotta work on getting these headsets into people at least being able to try them. Because if you can't try them, you're not going to pick it up. I mean, let's put it this way, people still really think VR is a passing fad. You're putting a lot of money and effort into these products, but you've got to do, and you're marketing them, sure, but seeing is believing. You've got to be able to try these things again. And I'll say this: when I tried the VTR demo, despite it's literally just Vert talking to me in Japanese, the tech was there. I mean, you can kind of see like Vert exists out. I'm not looking at a flat 3D image. There actually is like she's there. She's still a 3D model, but she exists outside of the rest of that room. It's kind of hard to explain. Like I said, you kind of need to try it in order to kind of get what I mean. But really, you need to work on getting these things, making it easier for people to try this. That is what's going to make the difference. The more people that can try it, the more people will see there's something there. That it's not just I realize that this is not cheap. That's why it's like, right now take advantage of the discount if you can. This was like $349. That's why minus whatever discounts I got from my Target card, which is exactly why I picked it up. I figured this is the cheapest point I'm going to get to, and I'm going to hope that I see more titles that have VR enabled, and I'd like to try them. But if you're going to charge, I can at least go into a Best Buy and pick up a PlayStation 4 controller and play something. That helps justify $400 to $500, which that was when the system came out. Now it's cheaper, I understand that. But if you want to charge $300 to $400 for basically an add-on to that system, you need to have a way for people to really try it. So that's my 2 cents on it. Enough of basically me trying to help Sony PR. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what you're doing at some point. So that's just my thoughts on it. Let's actually get to the opening of this thing, shall we? So, probably going to be a lot of cutting in the shots just because I've got to go back and forth and whatnot, etc. And this is a friggin' huge box, as you can see. So, yeah. We should probably actually start there. So, obviously, that shows you what comes in the box itself. Really, the side of the box is just more advertisements. PlayStation logo. But in particular, that's the headphones I was talking about, and the gun, the VR aim controller, I guess, if you're playing Doom VR. The little advert for Skyrim on the back, but considering this is locked in a glass case, there's no way I would have seen this. So, yeah. I apologize, a bit of a glare there, but not, otherwise I don't have any lights in this place. So, I've already cut open the box just to go ahead and get it open. Let's take a look at this thing. So we have 2 smaller boxes in here. This one here is looks to be the smaller of the 2. I'm guessing this is probably all the side stuff. But considering it's easier to get to, take a look at it. Yes, so inside this first box here we have Skyrim VR. So I will probably go ahead and give this a shot at some point. Like I said, I'm just not I'm open world RPG kind of guy. I'm sure Bethesda put their heart and soul into this thing, and kudos to them for being an early adopter and actually doing that. And it's not just a Bethesda thing. Look, I didn't even like not Skyward Sword. Well, I didn't like that, but that was a different reason. Breath of the Wild, for the same reason. It's Skyrim with the Zelda. That's the Zelda version of Skyrim. There, I said it. Everyone can be mad at me now. I beat it. Just like with Skyrim, I beat it. Woohoo. If you liked it, awesome. Just not my type of game. There is a demo disc 2.0. Anything interesting in here? Battlezone, Vital Frontier, Valkyrie, Fantastic Contraption, Job Simulator, Moss, Res Infinite, Starchild, The Persistence, Thumper, Tiny Tracks, Raw Data. Okay, it looks to be a shooter of some sort. And Starblood Arena is available via download. Neat. I will maybe try that at some point as well. I just don't know anything about these games. I will put you on the bed over there. Looks to be a little PSVR cleaning cloth. Always a good thing. What are you? come back to that in a minute, I guess. Unless that might be for the camera. It might be for the camera. Let's see here. Oh, I feel like I'm unboxing an Apple product. Okay, this is a weird contraption. So this lifts out. Don't you open. And it folds open like this. Okay. I'm going to complain about packaging for a second here. When I first pulled it out, it honestly almost started to open. This side started to open, and this side opens really easily. I would not recommend doing that. Just, if you pulled out like this, or this is going to be pulled out kind of separately, it's a little bit easier to use. This is probably cheaper to do, and probably thought it was cool, but if you pull this out, you don't realize that opens, you're just going to do that. And you possibly just broke your camera if it's not in there tight enough for that can happen. You see my point? Actually, the camera did pop out. So, don't do that. Bad Sony. Okay, I think this is the camera mount. In fact, I'm pretty sure. Give me 1 second. That is indeed the camera stand. Okay, so, camera stand. That is the camera itself. Looks like it just pops up via... No, it's not a USB connector. Specialized little connector there. I am not sure where exactly that goes. I'm going to have to read the manual on all this. My PlayStation 4 is over there. I was not going to undo that and figure out how this worked on the fly. I'm just like, let's unbox the thing, see what's inside, and then I'll talk about the setup process another time. So that takes care of the camera. I'm actually going to put these on the bed as well, because I'll be setting those up very shortly. That's the camera stand. I'm going to, of course, gotta find a place to put the camera. These are the move controllers. Now these are actually packaged and they're pretty nice. I'll say this, yeah, the way they folded out, there was nothing holding those in. The plastic around them is actually held on pretty nice. The little rubber band's simple, but it's very effective. Okay. So, actually, having not used these before, there are 2 of them. I'm assuming you need 1 in each hand. Buttons are pretty simple. The glowy ball on the top, I'm pretty sure lights up, and that's, if I remember correctly. The camera looks at this and figures out where you are in position. I could be very wrong on all of this, so please just take all of this with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm not as familiar with the technical details of this thing. Buttons on the front, so you gotta... That's the PlayStation button right below here. I'm assuming that's probably one of your main action buttons. Trigger on the back, and then you have, of course, the 4 PlayStation shape buttons. So it's triangle, circle, cross. Yes, it is cross, not X. And square. Then you have select on the side, start on the other side. 2 of those. Should make for a good time. I don't know of anything that actually I have that would use them, other than Skyrim, possibly. But I have them in case I need them. That's the main thing. Alright, I'm going to put this back in here. Technically, it doesn't go there. It goes in the other box, but, you know, eh. And pull this thing out. Now, I'm pretty sure this is actually the main unit, so I'm going to ditch this box. Now, this is actually kind of a nicely packaged box here. You do have this little plasticky thing, which is there to kind of... keep everything closed, but at the same time, it's just kind of a nice touch. I do like that, as opposed to having one of the piece of tape I have to cut. I hate cutting tape. All right, fold that open there, and that's a PlayStation VR. I guess that's the manual right there. So no, that's the Quick Start Guide. That's the Quick Start Guide. It's a thick Quick Start Guide. It's only in 3 languages. Okay. That is kind of large print, so I guess that does help. Should it contain... This is not saying anything about the camera, so this is basically for the unit itself. So I should have an HDMI cable, USB cable, an AC adapter, an AC power cord, the headset, stereo headphones with earpieces. That actually could be really useful. Processor unit, and the printed materials, which I'm guessing is this. Okay. So, we'll take a look at each of this. I'll be cutting a little bit here as I just try to take a look at this, so give me a few minutes. So it shows you how to connect stereo headphones to the VR headset. Apparently it has its own set of wired ones. Then shows you how to connect everything. So, of course, console, processor, and your headset. The HDMI cable gets plugged into the processor unit, apparently. The camera gets plugged into... So basically, the HDMI cable from your PS4 that goes to the TV, that gets plugged in from the now to the TV to the processor unit. The camera gets plugged into the PlayStation itself. You then use another HDMI cable to connect the PlayStation 4 to the processor unit. And then you plug a USB cable from the processor unit into the front of the PlayStation 4. Yeah, actually, I think that makes sense, because I know you can transmit data over HDMI, but I don't think you can. But I think it's basically audio-video data, unless you basically use Ethernet over HDMI, which I don't remember if that ever got fully developed as a standard. So having a USB cable does make... I was thinking, why would you need a USB cable in addition to an HDMI? But that would make sense if you have to transfer data back and forth. That would work. Connect the AC adapter of the processor unit into the wall. And then you plug the VR headset into the processor unit. It looks like the front of that thing. Then you power up the PSVR. Okay, to turn on your TV, turn on your PS4, and then turn on the VR headset, and then go through the setup process. I will probably do a video about that. Seems like it could be interesting. Okay. Then it goes something about the play area, basically. Where you can sit. Basically, Wii sensor bar stuff is the best. If you were from my era of dealing with setting up play areas, quote unquote. In this case, then removing it. There's a headband release at the back. Pull the headband back, and then you turn off the VR headset with the power button. And that's basically it. So actually, I will say this: it's a thick manual. But it actually, the way it's set up actually does make sense. Each page, so they're having 3 separate sections. Every page has each language on it. And so it's actually arranged quite nicely. A little thick, so it's a little intimidating at first to look at, but it's a good manual. Yes, we have actually critiqued the manual. I am such a nerd. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of this. This, I think, is all of the cabling we'll need. Looks like it. So, running through all of this really quickly. I'm sure this is riveting. You've got an AC adapter right there. I'm pretty sure that is for the, and it's even numbered, so you know which part of it, what part you're dealing with. That's actually kind of nice. And it's actually on there with a good, it's actually not like a little tear-off thing. It's actually on there really nicely. So, yeah, probably, because I will say this. When I went to the IFI thing, and I saw the process, like, I knew that was the process unit. I saw all the cables. Even the first time I went to E3, not last year, but the year before, they had this in the case, I was looking at this thing going, I thought we were going more with less cables these days. What am I doing here? Hooking up a Virtual Boy? That's honestly what it felt like, but technically the Virtual Boy, I think, had less cables. But yeah, there's like cables all over the place with this thing. It is a little daunting in that aspect. I will say this, part of that is because the processor unit is not integrated into the PlayStation 4. I wouldn't be opposed to them maybe in 3 or 4 years, I realize maybe sooner, having it combined basically, kind of like the Xboxes, the Xbox One, how basically it was, you know, I had enough stuff on board, and when they launched, they had the Kinect included with it because they had the hardware and whatnot, etc. Something like that, where the processor unit is included in the PlayStation 4. I would have to figure that also make the whole thing cheaper to make too. Not the PS4 base model. Basically, it's like then you're not having to make separate hardware for this, which I'm assuming is the processor unit, and the PS4. But maybe there's a technical reason they can't do that. But an integrated unit, that'd be kind of cool. I just plugged the VR headset into. Since I held it up, processor unit. So there's our little PlayStation logo right there. There is you got your 2 HDMI cables in the back. There's a USB Looks like a micro USB connector and power. And then you have, it looks like an HDMI cable and a data cable, which would make sense. You need the HDMI for the video. The data cable is probably sending data back and forth to the headset, depending on what you're doing, whatnot, etc. Interesting. I'm kind of a technical nerd in some of this stuff, so I kind of do like, you know, thinking about all these things, how certain things fit together. HDMI cable. This is the one that they basically saying connect this cable to your PlayStation 4 in the VR unit. Give me a second here. The reason I'm doing this is I'm curious to see what it says on the cord here. So, just says HDMI high-speed cable. I was hoping it would maybe say what version it was, but I don't know enough about HDMI markings to note that. I have a lot of monoprice cables, and so they actually they actually usually do print what type of cable it is on there. It just says E321011. So interesting. I would assume it's got to be one of the more recent standards, though. I would hope so. Reason being is if you ever need a replacement cable, you need to know what type of HDMI cable to buy, and if you're going with the cheapest one, as I know some people do, you might be getting the wrong speed type, and then it's not going to work. You might have degraded performance. So, or in the other cases, newer cables you need newer cables to be HDCP compliant, which is a whole other thing. This is the USB cable, which goes from the back of the. This one basically it's USB mini. USB goes from the VR unit to the front of the PlayStation. I'm pretty sure. And power cable. Power cable's power cable. I'm pretty sure we've all seen a power cable. Okay. Presentation of actually that big in the box was actually quite nice. I do like that. And this is basically the PlayStation VR itself. Okay, this is just at the bottom of the box essentially. All right. Don't know how I feel about that being back. Fix you. Okay. I'm guessing these are the stereo headphone holders that we're talking about. And then this is basically the bag with the cabling. The unit itself, I will say I've always kind of liked the design of it. Very quick, you know what you're playing now. Take these stickers off. They put stickers on there protecting the PlayStation logo. Protect the marketing. But yeah, the cool thing about this at least is I was able to wear it with my glasses. Let me throw this thing on real quick. I'm gonna look really silly, but what can you do? Let's see here. Alright, so it does stretch back actually pretty far. Put that on there, and then you can tighten it and loosen it from the back here. Can I wear my hat with this thing? Not really. Well, screw it, I'm doing it anyway. Yes, I'm sure I look like an idiot right now, but I like my hat, damn it. I can't see anything with this thing on right now. There literally is just no light coming through here, which is kind of the point. Actually, for light leakage, this is completely black right now. I can see a little bit of leakage, like right there, and that's only because of the fact that that's basically what your nose piece is, the nose guard is. No, it's not really a guard, it's just where your nose sits. There's a little bit of light leakage from there. I know that's kind of a big thing. But yeah, I'm wearing this thing with my glasses on, keep in mind, and it's pretty dark in here. If I remove my glasses, I could definitely get a lot closer. Tighten that up a little bit. That's probably a lot closer, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to see a dang thing. I do not have good eyesight. I have to see things really up close, and even then, with just the way that light is these days, I really should be getting some blue blocker lenses because I'm pretty sure my eyes are just not. They probably need something. I've been sensitive to light for quite a long time. Realize that looked really silly, but what can you do? But yeah, no, actually, that's pretty good in that aspect. Wow, I really got like right up close with that thing. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that's the reflection. I'm looking at this going like, is there a crack in these things already? But no, it's the reflection of the LED lights above me. I'm seeing little dots in them. I'm like going, what's going on here? We'll have to definitely see. I'll have to put this together and see how it works. But let me pull this out from here. It fell down there, so I can show you a little bit about it. So obviously that's the front of the headset right there. The back itself right there is basically, this is the, once you've tightened it down to the way you want, you push that button and then you can extend it. It's actually got quite a bit of flex. I was a little gentle with it at first. I wasn't sure how much I could do, but it's got, you can see there, it's pretty flexible. I would worry about that eventually wearing out though. I'm not too sure on the specifics. The inside of the headset, this is going to be a little hard to show you, but I'm sorry. But darn thing. The inside of the headset right there is basically where all the action is. So you have your two lenses right there, and then you've got this right. No, sorry, I'm trying to do this. Right there, the nose section. That's actually quite comfortable. I didn't have any kind of discomfort wearing that, whatnot. Feels pretty good. You got a dial down here, which I'm guessing is the volume, possibly. Looks like plus, minus, and a mute microphone, and then there's a power button right there. So that is the headset. I think the only thing I didn't see in there were the headphones. Are they included with the thing? Maybe not be. Let me take a quick look through my stuff. Give me a second. Ah, I found them. These are the stereo headphones. They were hidden in the processor unit box there. They're basically put like right in the side right here, and so I did see the packaging. That's why. Let's take a look at these. Okay. So that's where the headphone jack goes, and then that's where the earbuds go. Are those too big for me? Yeah, they are. There are other tips though. Personally, I prefer kind of tips like these. I may just see if I can't finagle these off of there and put them on there or something. Mainly because of the fact I'm always supposed to be immersive, but I have sensitive ear canals. Always have since I was a kid. So that may be something to look into, Sony. I'll say that these types of earbuds, I know they're really popular, but they're not exactly the most comfortable always. But you do have different sizes. Let's pop this on the headset real quick. So, at the bottom of the headset right here, there is they usually have two holes. This one just looks to be nothing. This is actually the one you want to pop that into. This actually just pops right into there. If I can do this. It's a little hard to get in there, but that does make sense. You don't want it popping out, so you want it to be a little difficult to get in. And then you just basically pop when not using them, you pop the headphones into those right there. And that's basically how you store the thing. The one thing that this does not come with, obviously, is a way to store the thing. Okay, I will say this. I had a feeling that was going to be the case, considering this is kind of some expensive hardware, whatnot, etc. That does bug me a little bit. You can put it back in the box, but you can always have the box right there, whatnot, etc. Now, I know part of the reason for that is they want to go ahead and sell you accessories, but still, a case for at least a thing would have been nice. So instead, I basically bought my own, and I forget how much this was. What was this running? I know it wasn't cheap. $60. I probably could have found it for cheaper elsewhere, but this is what they had at Target, and I was already getting one thing. I figured I might get it together. Give me a second. Let me undo the clips on this, and we'll take a quick look at it. Got it out of the box. Simple little case. Like I said, it's a little expensive. It is a nice hard case, though, so at least I'm not worried if I basically put it down and kick the thing and it falls over like that, it's going to break anything. That's the hope. Trust me, you never know what can happen to this, and I'd rather have something to protect it because I don't want to spend another $300 on replacing the headset. Though I think probably I can get away with $250. We'll see. So inside the case, we've got obviously an instruction manual. There is, it's got a mesh pocket here. This holds the cables, whatnot, etc. So this is basically holds VR headset connection cable, USB and HDMI cable. Doesn't say anything about the power cable. A little disappointing in that aspect. Inside, it's kind of a nice soft material, which is good because I don't want the... There's a chip in here! I'm not lying! This is the first time I've opened this thing, and there's a chip in here. Like, I thought it was orange flecks of something, but I didn't realize it was a chip. How did a chip get in here? I'm gonna wash this thing out. Well, I'll say this, it was sitting on a Target. It wouldn't have been that hard, honestly, for someone sitting in the box right there to be kind of opening it and that, but wow, that's still kind of crazy. The chip in this anyway, this is why we order from Amazon, kids. I'll have to clean this out first a little bit. I don't know. I was going to try and put the thing in here, but I'd rather wipe it down first just to be sure. Last time I used those lenses getting scratched. But anyway, inside here is where you would basically put the VR headset itself, it looks like. I'm assuming the mesh pouch probably goes somewhere in here. Part of me would think there, but that's probably where the unit goes itself. Let me see if it's in the box. Yeah, okay. So on the box itself, the headset goes... Basically, here's the back of the box to kind of show what I'm talking about. The headset goes in there. The AC adapter and power cords go here. So that explains what that hole is for. That's what she said. Yes, I know. VR cable headset goes there. The component goes there, and then I'm guessing you just find a spot for that, and then just close it, zip it up, and then throw wherever you want, just like that. I gotta clean it out anyway. There was a chip in there. Okay, good work, Target. So, thoughts on the PSVR unboxing, at least. Actually, the unboxing process, that's pretty simple. I had a little bit of fun here and there, obviously, but let's kind of think about it for a second. The bundle itself is actually not a bad value. You do get VR demo, which I did not know was in there, so that's something I can actually try and get you involved with a little more of the VR titles. Skyrim itself, if you're a Western RPG guy, you're just a Bethesda guy, which there's a lot of people out there who are, that's probably your best value. I've heard a couple of things about the game. The controllers might be a little bit sensitive, whatnot, etc., but that's something that can be fixed with patching, and Bethesda has the bankroll to do that, so I'm pretty sure that'll get patched. Though still, not great that kind of has to be if that's the case. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I may give it a shot. I don't know yet. It's because of the fact it is Skyrim. I know I'm not going to like it, and I don't want to trash. Usually just... I realize some of you Bethesda fans are like, you really do, like, you're just being a jerk about this. I'm really trying not to. I'm trying to look at the positives of this. If I was playing the game, yes, I probably would be like, no, I don't like this. There are things about it I like. It's just that it's a different style of game that I'm not... The Western RPGs kind of work in my mind is, one, they're very big and open, which is kind of intimidating. I like more structured things. But two, it's you create the story. I don't want to create a story. I want the story told to me. That's kind of why I like the JRPGs a little bit more. That's a personal taste preference. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means what I like. So, but yeah, if you're a Western RPG fan, this is a great bundle in that aspect. You do get the 2 move controllers. That's kind of cool. So you have those in case you want to use them, or you need to use them. And then you also do get the camera, which is a big part of the PSVR thing. So that at least you got, because that's the thing. Is some of the other bundles don't come with the camera. So you gotta buy the camera by yourself. I don't like that. So bundle was the way to go. I'm opening it up. Like I said, the box itself is only sealed by 1 piece of tape. Thank God. I cut it beforehand. So that was kind of nice. It was this little plastic, circly tab things they put on there. The only negative thing about the box itself really is just, like I said, that Oh, there it is. This thing. Was this. This was just not a good idea, because like I said, basically, it's really heavy on this side, so this opens up just immediately, and in fact, you know, you can kind of see it's only held on by the corners right there, and if you kind of pull it out by one side, not thinking about it, you're really going to do, did not mean to drop that, but that's exactly what will happen. Do that, camera flops out, whatnot, etc., or if you do it from the other side, your move controllers just fell out. And that can be a bit dangerous, so this was not the greatest idea for that aspect of it. Be very careful when taking this out of the box. The unit itself was packaged beautifully, no problem with their getting it out of there. The unit itself fits like a glove, granted it's brand new, so I would really hope so. Then you basically have just all the cabling and whatnot. The cabling is all one nice box. That's actually not that bad with the processor unit, whatnot, etc. And the headphones. Make sure to check for those headphones because they are small enough and kind of in there you may miss them the first time like I did. So make sure you got them so you have a complete unit. And then there is just the instruction manual. And yeah, I will say it is intimidating looking at first, but with just how big it is and whatnot, that actually does make a lot of sense. You have this big kind of intimidating new piece of technology that we're not really used to. Because we're used to consoles. If you're a gamer, you've probably been setting up consoles for years. You don't even need the manual. You take the manual, throw it over there, just like, box, cable, power, go, play. You know, do whatever you set up. This is something completely different, and so you have to kind of, you are probably going to look at that manual, and there are going to also be parents who, well, maybe I'm assuming maybe there are some parents who are going to get this for kids, though. I don't really see this as kind of a kid-friendly thing just because of the fact that it's very easily you can very easily break this thing, I would assume. I'm pretty sure it goes through some product testing, but I'd be worried about getting so lost in what it is, you trip and fall over something, or just kids are going to be a lot rougher with it. And this is probably a more delicate piece of machinery than the PlayStation 4, which is sitting on a, table or something, or in your entertainment stand. But point being, you might be picking this up, and it might be your first VR headset, or maybe you're not familiar with electronics, and you're just like going, how do I set this thing up? And it's actually really good at that. So kudos to the manual team for that one. There is an actual term for that, and I can't remember it. I apologize, Sony team who worked on this. I don't think it's marketing materials, but the whoever wrote the instructions. Trust me, I've seen some bad instruction manuals in my time. And I'm someone who does RTFM because of the fact that working in the computer field at all, and I was training to do for a long time, you really learn that you need to do that. And that 90% of problems are from people not doing that. So, always consult your manuals. But yeah, actually, it's pretty good. So kudos to Sony on actually putting together a pretty good bundle on this one. If like I said, this is not quite your cup of tea with Skyrim, and you just want the unit itself, I would recommend going ahead and getting, one, make sure you're getting the version 2 of the hardware. Like I said, if it is an HDMI pass-through issue, that from what I was reading is correct, just apparently with HDR or something, just get the second one. It's going to be better hardware anyway. I would probably say that if anything too, the materials that are used to make it have probably been at this point zeroed in, whatnot, etc. So your fault tolerance is probably going to be a little bit better, even though it's basically kind of the same thing. I really would just make sure you get the second version of the hardware. If you really can't and you need to get the first one will work. There's not any major changes to the technical specifications as far as I understand, so you're still okay. It's not like the Apple Watch I bought and then literally 3 weeks later they came out with the second version of Series 1. Yes, I bought the original Apple Watch like 3 weeks before they announced the second version of this. My Microsoft band broke and I needed something to track my exercise. I go running twice a week for health. Long story short, family has some heart issues, so important to stay fit, and I like to kind of, at least to run and be active, and I like to keep track of that. So, band broke, tried to get a watch, and then literally 3 weeks later, it was just, hi, here's a new version of that watch, and by the way, they changed why it's the same watch, essentially. The innards were different. That doesn't seem to be the case here, as far as I understand, so, but double check on that. But they do have the Doom. If you're a first-person shooter fan, you could try the Doom bundle. You also could try the Gran Turismo bundle. But those move controllers, depending on what game you may get, may be a lifesaver. I don't know of any games on the niche side that are going to be using those, so you may just be fine with the headset. When I did the V2R demo, we used a DualShock 4. So we don't need it for that as far as I know of. but could be worth it. You never know. But yeah, that's about it. I'll do a bit of I'll get this thing set up, and I will probably do a video showing me kind of doing the setup, so I can kind of go over it, much like we did with the Switch. So look forward to that. That will probably go up the same day as this. I'll try to. If not, come back tomorrow. I'll make a note in the post, whatnot, etc. If I can, I'd like to have these in one post, just 2 separate videos. But thanks for watching. Hopefully, I will say this. I could, regarding the, like I said, regarding the fact that maybe this is just something that not a lot of people have tried. If you have not tried a PSVR and you want to, tweet Sony. Talk to them on social media. Politely. I cannot stress that enough. Politely. Say, hey, where can I try out a PSVR? Where are you going to bring these somewhere near me, whatnot, etc.? Because if I'm right, and that is the reason you haven't picked one up, because you haven't tried to see what this is like for yourself, you need to let them know that, because then they can rectify the situation. Communication is, I know I stress this in a lot of the videos we do for PBS and whatnot, etc. But really, communication breakdown is the #1 issue when it comes to just about anything. If they don't know if they think everything's fine, basically in the aspect of, well, we're selling units and the way we're doing it seems to be, it's slow and steady, but we're getting there. They're just going to keep doing that. If they know that there's a need that if you can tell them there's a need they're not fulfilling, they can fix that. They can be like, oh, well, these people over here are not being able to see the awesomeness we're bringing. We got to go bring them the awesome, something like that. But, just politely say, hey, there's not a PSVR. I haven't been able to try the PSVR in the 2 years it's been out, the year to 2 years it's been out. Where can I find one of these to try? Because, like I said, they're not available at most kiosks. I can't go into a Best Buy, local Target, my local Best Buy. They don't have them. Then again, my local Best Buy's PlayStation section is just an absolute disaster. It is. I've seriously, honestly considered taking pictures and sending them to, just tweeting at Sony and Best Buy corporate, just being like, how am I supposed to find anything? And it's kind of sad, because my local Best Buy actually does carry niche titles. They've carried Neptunia titles. They've carried, I've seen Danganronpa there. It's like, wow, I would not expect to see these outside of a GameStop or Amazon, and they're here. And you can't find them unless you basically start, literally picking through things. And even some of the larger selling titles, it's just like they're scattered everywhere. It's an absolute mess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do that one of these days. I think that's a good idea. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that will help. Like I said, they don't know there's a problem. They can't fix it. Maybe they need to know there's a problem, because I'll say this. I have talked to the staff of that store before, and I've literally gotten the responses, we know, nod, and walk away. And I was like, then do something about it. I don't know. I'll think about it. I just hate kind of being a dick in that aspect. It feels like I used to work retail, so I know it's not easy to maintain a section, but when it looks that bad, take some pride in your work, I guess is how I feel. Anyway, yeah, I'm rambling. That's what I usually do. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching this. Next time, PSVR setup. Should be fun. I'll probably still look like an idiot. I'll probably still wear my hat. Who knows? See you later, everyone. Bye.